The wine industry is, in fact, very, very family-centric. And our guests today on Wine and Dine at Speletich Cellars are no exception. We're joined today by Mother Barbara Speletich, who is the veteran winemaker, and daughter Kristen Speletich, which, to their knowledge and to my knowledge, is the only mother-daughter winemaking team in California. And a father, husband, Tim, is also involved in the business as well. The Speletich Family Wine Company is a united four-brand concept, which includes Speletich Cellars, Spell Wine, Three Spells, and Crush 94. Speletich Cellars produces about 3,000 cases of reserve wines per year, made from grapes that are sourced from some of the finest Napa Valley wines. And the winery is located at the southern end of Napa County near the airport, which makes it in the category of very much an urban winery. And let me start by asking Barb, what... tell us about the history, the founding of the winery. And before you started this with your husband, it wasn't a thought, or was it a thought that your daughter would be eventually getting involved?
Oh, it's the hope of any parent that their kids will join them in what their passion is. And even when Kristen was a small toddler, I always had her taste wines. So in the beginning, before I started the winery, I was an importer of wines from Europe. So I spent many, many months over there every year getting things ready for containers to come over. And as I had to entertain a lot to try to pre-sell a lot of what was coming on the containers, Kristen was always part of that. So she had very small glasses. I'd pour her a little bit of everything, like seriously less than an ounce, because she was small. And I asked her to critique it. So she's sort of been groomed from a very young age to do things like that. So this sort of seems a natural progression.
Okay, now, Kristen, would that lead in from your mom? Were you, when you were in college or when you were in high school, were you a teenager that ever over-imbibed or didn't use wine in the context in which your mother brought you up in, and, in a healthy use and that sort of thing? I mean, did you go through that phase? I'm just curious, because I think a lot of kids go through that phase.
I actually, when I was a teenager, I didn't really want to be in the wine industry. I wanted to be a forensic pathologist.
Oh, wow.
And I'd grown up around it, and I loved the lifestyle, but I just wasn't interested in it until I was 18. I got a job at the French Laundry, being a reservationist, right before Thomas's first book came out, and he was still living behind the restaurant in Yountville. And I started spending a lot of time with the serving staff, and I've always been a huge foodie. I mean, I grew up under the tables of the best restaurants on the West Coast. So it was definitely, that kind of kicked it off. I've always had a palate, absolutely, thanks to my mom and all the stuff we did when I was little. But, I didn't really, when I got into it and I was like, I think I want to do this, they made me work for 8 years for other hospitality and wine companies before they would hire me. So I was very resentful then, but I'm extremely thankful now, because I came into our business with my own experiences within the wine industry. So it really helped me bring added experience and knowledge to our business.
I have heard other families do precisely that, is that they kick the kids out and say, you've got to go and work for other wineries. You've got to go work in other businesses. You've got to figure out your own path before you join us. And, oh, how fascinating. And I bet you, Barb, for you, that must have been a painful time or a difficult time when she resented you. I mean, as a mother myself, that would be hurtful.
Well, it wasn't really resentful.
Okay.
I knew that she would come around eventually.
Okay.
Because I sort of groomed her for a long time to do that.
Okay.
And she's, I just true to what I wanted her to do in life. That just totally made sense. But here's the thing. As a parent, you want your kids to do what they want to do.
Right.
So that was another thing that I was willing to handle, is whatever she wanted was whatever she wanted. But thank God she sort of turned towards family winery.
Wow. And as it turns out, this is such a wonderful addition to the Speltich Family Wine Company, because she represents this next generation, and and that population of consumer that is, you have to be one to really get it.
Well, here's the interesting thing too. Kristen, being younger, has her demographic, not just her demographic, but people that are younger than me and even younger than Kristen. Things are different today than they were when I started 35 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in my age range are sort of looking at wanting to do things the same way, but life has changed. You look at internet, you look at how we market these days.
Yeah.
Everything has changed. And it used to be you'd always take a bottle of wine out and go to 1,000 different places and hope that somebody buys. Now you go online and there's full disclosure about the wine, and it's open to a lot of people. So the market broadens for us small family wineries. I mean, it's actually wonderful.
Do you have a wine club, or I don't know, how many states are the Speltich family wines sold in?
We do have a very small wine club, and we're trying to build it right now.
Okay.
I've actually been focusing the first 6 months of the year of really rebranding us, because we have so much going on now. We're available to ship, I think, to everywhere except Utah.
Okay.
We're within that little loophole where our shipping company charges your credit card. So you're essentially shipping to yourself.
Okay.
I worked for Sterling, Mum, and BB, the 3 largest wine clubs in the Valley, in my early 20s, and learned a lot of loopholes.
Oh my gosh, how close. So, okay, now say that again, because that went over my head. I've never heard that before.
What?
About so so you are shipping to yourself, or a consumer is shipping to themselves. Explain that.
Without to go into my political opinions, there was George Bush actually did something incredible within the first 6 months of him being president. Is he allowed that any American, if they were physically on site, to ship wine to themselves anywhere in the United States.
Okay, I remember that.
Okay, so basically, I mean, I don't know if I want to talk about this, but we have a third-party fulfillment house. We do not do our own shipping, and I have them. It's on our website, and we explain it to customers that they place the order on the website. I provide all the order information, including payment information, to my shipping company, and they charge my my customer for shipping.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. Sense. That's so fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of people don't. The thing is we are too small, and we do not have the financial means to get compliance in every single state.
Yes.
And we don't. Our direct consumer business is quite good for how small we are. So the amount of direct-to-consumer shipping normally generates from the website. So it's not worth it for me at this point to pay the thousands of dollars and then the monthly fees to be compliant when we, they just charge, and we've been doing it for years. It works. I've had a few people say, well, I don't want to give them my credit card information. It's like, unfortunately, I legally can't charge you for shipping and ship it to you.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, that's the only way to do it. That's what makes sense. But before we run out of time, let me also ask you, and I don't know who wants to talk about this, maybe Barb, is that you also do custom crush for clients.
Right.
And does that, like, if a restaurant wants to order something, or a store, or even a person who wants to order something for, like, an upcoming wedding or something?
It's not really that. What it is based on is smaller producers than ourselves who don't want the expense of doing a full winery and all the equipment that you have to do. It allows them to be able to make their wine. So we either some of our clients, we make the wine for them, and some of our clients make their own wine on our premise.
Okay, got it,
So
got it.
It's wonderful for the small guys, and they never stay with us forever, but it gives them a leg up. And for some people, it's the reality of making wine. It's not glamorous at all. It's
it's business.
one of the
Yeah. Okay, now let me ask real quick here also, can you talk about the different tiers and the price points of the different Spell Touch Cellars, Spell Wine, and 3 Spells?
Yeah, I'll take that. So Spell Touch Cellars is turning 20 next year.
Wow.
Yeah, so we are, we've actually rebranded, and we're going to a completely silkscreen bottle with 14 karat gold, 24 karat gold. And that currently right now is in the $35 to $65 range, and we're lowering production a little bit, and that's going to become kind of the mother of the top tier. So that'll be from about a $35 to $75. And then 3 Spells is right in the middle. This is we just bottled about a month and a half ago our first 3 Spells, because the Spell one, I'm not sure if you saw the labels on the website, is very like Moulin Rouge meets the Silkscreen T-shirt meets the Sex Pistols. It's kind of in your face, and that's 20 and under.
Okay.
But it was not good for white tablecloth restaurants.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It just didn't do very well. They'd have it on the list, but they never have it on the table, even though the price point is exceptional and the wine is very high quality.
Okay. Wow.
So we did the 3 Spells, which is a very contemporary but very clean and simple label with screw caps, which I am in love with.
Okay.
Mom has a little bit of problem with them, but so that's between Spellitich and Spell Wine.
Okay.
So Spellitich 20 and under, 3 Spells is about 20 to 33, and then Spellitich is 40 to 75.
Okay.
So we hit every single demographic.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Well, I would like to thank the two of you for joining us this week on Wine and Dine, Barb Spellitich and Kristen Spellitich. Thank you so very much for your time.
Oh, thank you. It was great.